5 days ago, when my Apple built-in weather forecast showed this afternoon, it says it's going to rain at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And I thought, yeah, it's 5 days out. It will not rain at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Bloody technology. It's so right. But the good news of a thunderstorm is it forces everybody in. So let's see if we can have some thunder and lightning, and ask our minister. This is definitely his farewell speech. I mean, I smell political change. I think, what is this thing is going to happen? We're going to recall him. I think it's time to get rid of Gwede. But before we do that, let's have one more last time. The ultimate original shit stirrer of the mining industry, our Honourable Minister.
I may ask for another term.
Another term? Hish, I don't know. I really cannot see that, but what do I know? Minister Gwede Mantashe, ladies and gentlemen.
Bernard, thank you very much. I could see that in retaliation, you put my ugliest picture of me. You are retaliating for some picture I put up of you many years ago.
Exactly.
But thank you. All the leaders of the industry and distinguished invited guests, there's nothing as nice as listening. You know, I listened the whole morning here. I wanted to be here yesterday, by the way. But we were locked into a cabinet committee meeting until 5, so I couldn't come. I wanted to listen throughout the Johannesburg Indaba, just to make up for a year that I missed the Johannesburg Indaba. And Bernard called a press conference about that and gave a distorted explanation of why I was not in the Johannesburg Indaba.
And it worked. He's here every year since.
No, I'm here because he doesn't respect Wednesdays. I always tell him that Wednesdays are complex for government people, but he still holds Johannesburg Indaba on Wednesday. I can't change that. Thank you very much. Let me congratulate you, organizers, for convening another successful Johannesburg Indaba. I must confess that the environment and the content is much better than any Johannesburg Indaba I've been before. Big improvement, better reaching out to each other, less criticism of government.
You missed yesterday, clearly.
I missed it deliberately because I know if you are discussing policy, half the time it's not a policy discussion, it's a complaint session. So I had to stay away yesterday. The cabinet gave me an excuse to stay away, but it's quite encouraging to listen to the discussion the whole day today. Our continued participation at the Indaba stems from our belief that sustained engagement on the mining industry in South Africa is vital to assess the state of the industry and identify pathways to improve its performance and contribution to our country's socio-economic development. So we don't have this feeling that it is government that will do X and Y. We are convinced, and we get convinced every year, that what will drive the success of this sector is engagement on an ongoing basis. They will tell you that in the industry, if there is an issue with a mining company, I visit it. As a matter of course, I just visit it and have a discussion with them, but can you do this differently? Can you resolve a dispute, Voslat, without firing people? And I do that every time. And to me, it works because it makes us understand one another better. Um, As we conclude this year's endeavor, we are encouraged that despite global headwinds and shifting geopolitical dynamics, the South African mining endeavor continues to make a positive contribution to our GDP. I had a discussion with few CEOs over the last 2 weeks, and I asked them one simple question. Are there any prospects for mining growing in South Africa? And this was the question that I put to all of them. They all gave me a similar response, that it depends on what we do. The decline in gold, which I will talk about, is not the decline of mining. It's decline of gold, not decline of mining. But we should do everything to ensure that there is that growth. This is evident in the sector's second quarter performance, during which mining output grew by 3.7%. That was the mining growth. And that added 0.2% to the GDP. Even more encouraging was that employment in the sector grew by 0.7%. Employment. Despite anything, people think that there are retrenchment in the air and so forth, the employment in the sector grew by 0.7%. So, in my view, that is positive. I take my time to monitor the developments in the mining industry. It's an industry that I love, it's an industry that I know. It's an industry that can be very abusive, by the way, but it's equally very addictive. It abuses you, you want to go back to it. That's how it is. For anybody, including Bernard.
Including me.
You know, Bernard was choked by attempt to swallow a bigger mining company at one time. He's still here. He's still here. This industry can be very abusive, but it's very addictive. You go back to it, you get abused more and more. And we should be focusing on the value chain of the sector. Exploration is so critical. Beneficiation is important. Research and development are quite critical. And if we can do that, we can maintain our competitiveness and drive sustainable growth. There is no shortcut to it. I listen to how technology can improve this and that and that and that. But even that technology will not evade exploration, beneficiation, and research and development. And if we invest in those, we're going to do much better. Mining, for example, is about continuous recovery of rich ore bodies. We don't have many of that in gold. It is about the health of financial availability. It is about availability of skills in the sector. Everything else follows those three components. And therefore, we are engaging the universities, the University of the Northwest, to open a mining school. And many say, but the population of engineering students at VETS, TECHIS, and UJ is not above the right level. And we explain that we will have to have more generation of skills and not give up. Because there is an issue of thinking that you can short-circuit mining. Unfortunately, that thing is comprising of rocks. So you will always need geologists. You will always need mining engineers. You will always need metallurgists. And you must generate enough of them, then have technology complementing the availability of this critical skill in the value chain of mining. So, and therefore, the appeal I listened to Bernard, making the same appeal that mining companies must provide more bursaries for mining skills. I took Philip to task. He said he had 350 bursaries. I said to them, how many of those are geologists, engineers, and metallurgists? He will give me that breakdown. Because you may have 400, only to discover that 350 of them are in social sciences. And to me, it doesn't address the issue. And he spoke very well, I must give him credit for this, that this country has a track record of providing the world with cutting-edge skills on mining. He cited few people. Natasha was the latest, and there are quite a few of them. I can give you a list of mining companies, global, that are run by South Africans. It's not by accident. It's because of the skills that we generate. And we should, as an industry, take pride of that and generate these skills, pay money to generate those skills. If we don't, they're going to disappear. We may have, you see, one thing that I always explain about us in South Africa is that we like living on aspirations and think that you can destroy everything you have because you aspire to have something better. In real life, that does not work. You maintain what you have, you develop new technologies and new spaces, and check their reliability and resilience before you begin to dismantle the old practices. So in my own view is that let's do that, be slow in running ahead of ourselves because we have aspirations. Now, therefore, the strong performance of PGMs, gold, chromium, highlights of a continued relevance to both our economy and global market trends. I'm making this point because one of the questions that I'm looking at is, as gold declines, are there any other minerals that will close that gap in the mining industry? I'm more interested in the overall performance of the sector than a particular mineral. And I'm submitting that your PGMs, your manganese, your chromium are closing to close that gap. And there's one critical mineral that is normally ignored, and that critical mineral is called coal. It's a critical mineral. It's doing well. Is in the top 5 in our assessment. It's in the top 5. It's coal, and my submission is that it's going to be around for a long time. Many have tried to write it off. It's coming back. I looked at its performance globally last year, 2024. It grew by 1.2% globally. And I said, this thing is not declining. It's growing, and it is going to grow for the next few years to come. Now, it is within this context that our critical mineral strategy recognizes all minerals as essential drivers of economic growth, industrialization, job creation, and national security. If you talk of greening the economy, you can't talk of greening the economy outside of mining. You will want one mineral or the other to accelerate greening of the economy. So mining is going to be relevant for a long time. Actually, I'm from a generation that always believed that you either mine it or grow it. If you don't mine it, you will have to grow it. Beyond that, there's nothing. I'm fighting with my colleagues there. They come with all the economic growth, 10-point plan and all that and all that. And I said to them, but in your 10-point plan, you ignore primary sectors of the economy. And it's a big mistake. And we'll have to prove to them that it's a mistake to ignore primary sectors, because that is the foundation that economy stands on. If we're weak at that level, we're not going to grow the economy at a pace that we require. Mining, agriculture, energy. And that's why the definition of critical minerals, is not universal. There's no universal definition of critical minerals. It differs from country to country. Therefore, the definition depends on where you are. Then there's no universal one. It depends on what you use it for. It differs from country to country. Now, despite its long history of mining, gold remains a major contributor to our economy and employment. We've been mining gold for more than 140 years, but still contribute. Now, I would imagine that there will be more aggressive exploration, that it is touching $4,000 an ounce. For business, money makes a big difference in decision making. $4,000 an ounce gold. And I was reminding old gold miners here that there was a stage when a gold price was at $250 an ounce. We marched in the streets together as trade unionists and business and everybody protesting this decline of the price of gold. It was at $250. It is at $4,000 today. So Chinese are predicting that it will go to $6,000. I don't know. They have a way of predicting. And gold miners must do and exploit it when it lasts, as long as it lasts. Because it doesn't matter what mineral it is, the cyclical behavior of prices of commodities is a natural phenomenon. Every commodity will touch the highs and touch the lows. When it touches the highs, don't spend the money recklessly, so that there are dry days that are coming. And I think that we should do in gold mining. So Junior Mining Exploration Fund, which we established last year, everybody said it was a joke. We said we're putting to 400 million rand for exploration. We're quite encouraged to see quite a number of entities and companies beginning to show practical experience into that exploration fund. I wish it will grow to a level where it can be sustainable. But I've suggested to all of them that if you want that fund to perform, please establish a governance structure that is distinct from us as government. We should not run it. It should be there. It should have a smaller board to look at it and deal with allocation objectively. Mining companies will come to me with proposal. I've thrown that idea that this thing is going to be big. It is our future, but it must be governed properly, because governance limits both operational and financial risk. So if you are reckless with governance, you are going to collapse it, a good idea. So that's where we're standing. We welcome the imminent opening of new underground gold mine by Westwith Mining. I think that is a good sign. But I was talking to geologists. I'm not a geologist. I'm only a geologist by prior learning. Okay. I'm just a geologist by prior learning. But I was saying to them, if the Fredhead Dome is described as responsible for the heavy gold deposits, there should be some deposits to the east of it. I put this to geologists, and these geologists say to me, we don't know, but we are suspecting that there should be real gold there, but it should be much deeper. And I say, therefore, somebody must do exploration and check if there is no gold. I'm convinced if there are heavy gold deposits to the west of the Fredhead Dome, there should be some gold deposits to the east of the Fredhead Dome, but geologists can prove that for us. Geologists by prior learning won't prove it. They can theorize about it. Now, and it is also very important for us that the sector, I always criticize the sector, Craig. Sector never talk about good things they do. They never. They never. This sector is comfortable with being in headlines for disasters of one kind or another. This must change. Mining is doing well. I boast in the cabinet, Bernard. I'm a shop steward of mining there. And I said to them, this is the fastest transforming sector in the economy. And they said, no, what do you mean? And I gave them breakdown of why I come to that conclusion. And I threw it back to them and I say, the most untransformed sector is banking. And I want them to come back and say, you are wrong. Because all structures, all practices, everything's static in banking. Mining is the fastest transforming sector of the economy in South Africa today. Now, old miners who resisted change, like Bernard, will remember that actually this sector was not employing women at all, by law. We fought for 21 days to open up employment for women in the industry. Today, about 78,000 miners are female. That is transformation. I don't want to give you a breakdown of executives who are female. Quite a growing number of them. And we're watching that space. I'm not going to talk about, I always tell my colleagues from the Afrikaner community, Bernard, you are beneficiaries of change, you must pay a fee for that. Because before 1994, there was not a single Afrikaner CEO in the mining industry. Not one. If you have any different facts, please give them to me. All of them, I know them, I can list all of them who have become CEOs post-1994. They are beneficiaries of change. So they must. Yes. They have a duty to drive change. They have a duty to drive change because change has benefited them. And I'm saying this unapologetic. When I count them at the top, I put Bernard Swanepoel, and I give people the list. Before that, at the highest they could be general managers. Few and far apart. Today, we have many of them as CEOs. Now, the fact that we have black CEOs in the sector is a massive change of the sector. I joined the mining industry when I was very young and very mischievous. Came to the industry with my matric. I thought I was educated. I couldn't put my hand on a blasting certificate because this thing was reserved for a scheduled person, which means a white male. Today, miners are full in the industry. There are more than 80% black miners in the industry. That's changed. So, anybody who was not in the industry for a long time will never appreciate the pace of change that is happening. And they will come back to us and say, change is slow. And I say, compared to what? Compared to what? And they say, as you grow old, Mantashe, you are becoming more conservative. But I want practical examples on proof of the slowness. Many, yeah. And this is the most and the fastest transforming sector of the economy. I want somebody to challenge me about that. I put that every day as a shop steward. Now, we are actually aware of the challenge posed by the infrastructure constraints. I was happy to listen to Eskom this morning and listen to Transnet. Eskom is out of the woods. Transnet is very much deep in the woods. It must come out of the woods. And the industry must appreciate that they have a role to play to accelerate the pace of change in Transnet. We need it. Because when I talk to my counterpart in transport, I always tell her that, you see, says Barbara, I will only assess the improvement of Transnet when iron ore reaches Saldanha on time and the right volumes. When coal reaches Richards Bay on time in right volumes. And when manganese reaches Port Elizabeth on time, in real time, I have no other measure. So I don't want to tell me that there's improvement on the rail line, there's improvement on this. I don't see that, I don't understand it. All I understand is that minerals that are being exported don't arrive at the port on time. That's all. That's my only measure. So I'm looking at that. We are looking into the question of working to get solutions to the electricity tariffs for chrome, manganese, and iron, steel. If we can get a solution on that, we're almost there. I can tell you that we're likely to get a preferential tariff for those sectors. It's not a choice. It's a question of those sectors being competitive in the world that is rough at us. China built a chrome industry at the back of our own chromium, and they don't have chrome. It's the one chrome mine, but they have a bigger chrome industry. We must change that. That's why when we talk of beneficiation, adding value close to the point of production, it's not a nice to have. We're not saying it because we want an extra load on miners. That's not the issue. Miners must add value. They must have smelters and furnaces working, not because they must pay more money, because they must get more value, which means more jobs and more profits for them. That's all we want, and we will be giving you a tariff. My colleagues promised me that we'll give these sectors a preferential tariff to be competitive. It's not a gift. It's not some free gift that we give to the industry. We do it because this industry must be competitive. Simple. And owners must make money, the country must benefit, and many things. There's a growing debate about the export tax. I'm one of the backward ones who believe that export tax is a blunt tool. I want economists to tell me I'm wrong. Say this is a blunt tool, it depends on who pays it. If you want producers to pay the export tax, you are increasing the production cost. If you want buyers to pay export tax, you are limiting the capacity of the market to absorb our products. Let's have something different. We've put an alternative to them. Let's put quotas, rather. Say, please beneficiate this percentage of a product close to the point of production. It's a debate. I'm throwing to the industry for them to help us come up with innovative ideas on these matters. So it's not an extra burden on mining companies. It's a view that says mining companies must add value, optimize the value, get proper profits, and preserve jobs in the sector. Our effort to create an enabling regulatory environment that supports and future mining opportunities are beginning to take shape. The bill, you'll remember when we issued that bill, there was a big noise between ourselves and the Mineral Council. And we said to them, what is the issue? Get under one roof, talk to one another, resolve the issues. That has worked. I'm hoping that we'll come back with an act that is working for the government and for the industry. So that is the issue. We have been talking about Cadastre, and the industry almost talked to this point. And somebody asked me, what is the Cadastre? I say, the first rollout is in the Western Cape. It is starting to happen. We're cautious. We don't want to set up a system that collapses 6 months into it. We roll it systematically, carefully, and the industry must just be patient with us and appreciate that we must do it. So there's no resistance on our part on the cadastral system. You will get it. But we are avoiding running into it and collapse it. So therefore, a modern system will be important. The rollout has commenced. Now, we can also report that our last Johannesburg Indaba, the department has processed and finalized 2,391 new applications. That doesn't include ancillary applications. That is what we've been doing to try to deal with something called the backlog. We are convinced that the modern cadastral system will reduce the uncertainty and attract investment by providing secure and up-to-date records of mining rights. We will be engaging the industry to contribute towards the exploration fund. We knock at the doors, including Z.B.S, by the way. It can't just be love forever. It must contribute to the exploration fund. So let me conclude by raising the point that mine health and safety remains an issue for us. We brought down fatalities. They stand at 42 last year. But I must report to Johannesburg Indaba, Bernard, that gold mining remains a biggest concern for us. They've doubled the numbers up to this point. PGMs are at the same level as they were last year. We must congratulate the others that they've reduced the numbers. Coal in particular, who has no fatality up to now in the sector. Oh, wow. So to us, this sector must never be known as killing people. It must be a sector where we go to work and go back home alive. That is the industry. That is what we call zero harm campaign in the sector. It's an appeal I'm making to the sector. We're left with 2 months to finish the year. We're not yet above 42. Let's try to be more cautious. And somebody asked me, why is gold doubling the numbers? I said, the price is too high. So, and people therefore push hard to get more benefits out of the gold price. And I'm saying lives of the people are more valuable than anything else. It's one area that we are not having a conflict between employers, workers, and government. It's an area of cooperation. Let's work off. Let me conclude by making the point that we can, together we can ensure that mining remains a pillar of our economy, one that grows inclusively and innovates continuously and protects the life of those who convert investment into wealth. That is the value of a worker. A worker, if you just look casually at it, says that's a worker. But the reality of the matter, the person who converts your investment into wealth is a worker who put his life on the block for you to earn the dividends. Half the time without any dividends paid to them. So thank you very much. I enjoy being in the Johannesburg Indaba, Bernard. You want to fire me this time? No. No. Unfortunately, I'm not employed by any company that is run by you. I'm not in Nelspruit. I'm here. The person who is an employer is Ramaphosa. I don't know if you have ever met that man. No. Yeah. If you have never met that man, that is my employer, Bernard. So don't fire me now. But I'm also old enough to begin to contemplate ending my political career. I'm too old now. I'm over 70. When you're over, I'm over 70, Makara. I'm over 70. This is my last term. Don't want to fire me now. Allow me to finish the term.
Ladies, gentlemen, the original shitstirrer, Gwede Mantashe.
Okay. No questions.
There are questions. There are questions.
No questions. No questions, Bernard.
No, there are questions. I'm going to make them up as we go. So, our minister was doing well, and then he got to this crap about export quotas and tariffs. And I mean, when I heard you speak in Cape Town, you were quite anti some of the ideas of Trump, and now you've just become like him. It just happened like that. Don't comment. No, you're going to cause an international. Don't. Minister, just don't say a word now, please. Don't say a word. Minister, you go back, way back, and you remind people of how things have changed. And you've got a version about the industry and the changes. And a lot of that, I think perhaps the audience ignores a little bit. But there's always been deep collaboration in this industry from completely different points. You're going to, I was going to say you're going to die a communist, but I believe you've resigned or they kicked you out. So, but ideologically, you'll be a communist. Opportunistically, you'll leave because you need to be where the power is. I am politically unaligned. I come from another background, and we have collaborated. I mean, you know, you've helped Harmony do things which was contemplated impossible when you were a unionist. Do you think that collaboration exists today? I don't want to be the old man who talk about the good old days when we collaborated, but do you think we collaborate at that deep level? Do you think despite our ideological differences, we try and build an economy on mining?
There are a few different things. You know, if you look back into the 80s, this industry have various categories of leaders. Alphas, fixers, lovers, all of them playing different roles. Now, alphas were those old executives of the industry who walked on the water and walk in the room, everybody notices that so-and-so has arrived. I'm looking back at a friend of mine called Peter Gash, who fired 50,000 mine workers in 2 days. Those were alphas of the industry. Autocratic.
It sounds like he misses them.
No. Actually, they helped shaping some of us with their approach to things. They shaped us, you see. But out of this industry emerged fixers, like Bernard Swanepoel, who takes a company with a group of young engineers that is left with 3 months' life and build an empire called Harmony, which is the biggest gold producer today. And there are also lovers who actually look for solutions that are organic, that are industry-based. Yokutifane will be such an example, who is not looking at foreign ideas. They are having organic ideas from the industry. So that is the categorization that we used to have. It's no longer there. What is there now, which is different, is that a leadership that is today, whether they have streaks of all these categories, but all of us appreciate the fact that we must collaborate. We must talk to one another. It's not a choice, it's a matter of duty to talk to one another. That's why, Bernard, you will notice, Uguti, I know almost every executive of mining here in this room. I know them. I call them by first name. I know them because collaborating is not a choice, it's a duty and an obligation. So it is there. As a former unionist, I'm a little bit worried about union movement becoming a little bit too young to deal with the complications of the industry. Because you see, if they are young and they deal with people like you, you'll run circles around them and pull them.
I thought I ran circles around you, but that was my personal thing.
You always try to run circles around.
I'm still trying.
But we ran. But to me, collaboration requires a particular level of skill from all the players. So if the players are short of capacity to analyze, there is a problem. That's why sometimes I phone some of the executives and tell them, please, man, please sort out that issue, please sort out that issue. Actually, it's not my space. It's a trade union space to engage the employers about problems in the sector. But we can work on that and build on it. And what you forget, this is my last point, is that employers have a responsibility for the development of those trade unionists, rather than having an antagonistic relationship. Yeah. Send them to school, give them programs, let them develop capacity to engage you.
Minister, there are questions, but they are of sort of a granular level. I think you've taken the conversation to a different place. But I want to come back to the two appeals you made directly, because selfishly I am 100% in support. You are challenging the mining companies to really think about bursaries for the hard technical skills, the engineers, the metallurgists, the mining engineers, the geologists. I personally, obviously, completely, totally agree with it. I earlier said if we give too many social sciences bursaries, we get Gwede Mantashes. This man is busy with his PhD in social sciences at age over 70. I'm just sharing with you.
Who told you that?
I'm sharing with you. So it's good, but leave it for after 70. In the meantime, let's train some engineers. Minister, the second important thing you make is this beginning of us allocating money back to exploration. You've initiated it. The IDC's come to the party. We earlier, yesterday, had some presentations of early success. Anglo's committed 600 million to this, so I'm told. Yeah, so that was announced yesterday. And then, of course, let's also recognize the PIC's 1.3 billion rands towards funding junior mining. So, Minister, don't stop. Please keep on pressurizing us to do the things that you and I won't be there. We will long be gone when the fruits of this will come, and I think that will perhaps then really be your legacy, not the chair of the Communist Party or this whatever, all the other stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we tolerate this man. This is why we take his shit. This is why he's our uncle that we talk about behind his back, and when he's here, we respect him because he cares about the mining industry. We will never agree on everything, him and I, us and him and us. But this is a man who wants the mining industry to thrive, and for that we will ever be grateful. This is not your last time. You may come back as president next time, but you are here. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You must just be careful of what you are wishing. I'm going to Amasat now. Okay. And this thing?
Please take it. You know, this minister has been known to walk out with the silverware, so watch him. Minister has to leave, so he tenders his apologies. He's on his way to Amersfoort.
Prime Minister of a particular country went into a car with this thing, and he was insulting everybody. And they were listening to every word. Please take this out of me.
Whilst we finally get rid of the politicians, I have one thing to say. Thank you to the sponsors. Paula, I am sick and tired of thanking you, but I will never get sick and tired of you. You and your team, you make us proud, really. You bring miners together. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you drink, be careful out there. It's wet and slippery. Thank you very much, everybody. Next year we'll be a little bit tighter on the numbers, I promise. I don't like queuing for the urinal, so we'll work on that. But thank you very much. I thought it was a fantastic 2 days. Thank you very much. Thank you.